What's going on, guys? This is Mikeinoid, and today I'll be showing you guys my Nintendo Switch game collection. The Nintendo Switch is over 7 years old now, and I like the system. I really like the system. So it's been a couple of years now since I've made an updated Switch game collection video, where before I just talked about each game individually. However, today that will not be the case since I've somehow accumulated over 200 Switch games. Don't ask me how that happened, okay? One day I just looked over to my shelves and I saw I have 2 shelves overfilling with Switch games. I asked you guys how I should do this video, and the majority of you voted for me to show the games in groups and highlight specific ones, so that's what we're going to do today. I put each game in one of 27 categories, a category being a specific genre, series, or publisher. I will at least list off every game in the category, but I will only talk about the ones I've beaten or somewhat have a good understanding of, since I actually, surprise surprise, haven't played all these games. By the way, as you can see, I've made custom spines for a good majority of my games since I was tired of looking at the sea of red on my shelves. Listen, red is my favorite color, but it just makes seeing which game I own much easier. If you want to make your own Switch spines, I will leave a link to the Switch spines Reddit link in the description, where you can find the pre-made spines. With that being said, let's take a look at 200 plus Switch games. So we're gonna start off big and talk about these Pokemon games. We'll start off with the mainline games here. I got Pokemon Let's Go Pikachu and Let's Go Eevee, Sword and Shield, Brilliant Diamond and Shining Pearl, Legends Arceus, and Scarlet and Violet. I played all of these games, and while these are not my favorite mainline Pokemon games, I still got a lot of enjoyment out of them, especially Pokemon Scarlet. I've easily put over 200 hours into the game just from doing 7-star raids. I also have all the spin-off Pokemon games. I have Pokken Tournament DX, New Pokemon Snap, Pokemon Mystery Dungeon DX, and Detective Pikachu Returns. Pokken Tournament DX is the same game as the Wii U, just with more fighters and even DLC, which is great. And New Pokemon Snap is easily the best looking Pokemon game on the Switch. It's gorgeous and the gameplay is pretty relaxing for what it is. This category is the Toys to Life games. These 2 games use physical figures as part of the gameplay. I have Skylanders Imaginators and Starlink Battle for Atlas. Skylanders Imaginators is the 6th game of the Skylanders franchise that was also released for other consoles as well, but the Switch version is quite expensive even if you're looking for the cart itself. What's cool about the Switch version is that you don't need a portal to scan in the figures like the other versions. You just need the right Joy-Con or a Pro controller to scan them into the game. The game itself is a pretty okay 3D platformer. It's just a hard game to get into since the figures that were released alongside the game are quite expensive. Starlink is a bit inexpensive though. You get to fly around in a spaceship of your choice and do missions on various planets. And what's cool about Starlink Battle for Atlas is that you don't need to go out and find all the physical figures themselves. All the characters, ships, and weapons are available digitally on the eShop, so you could just buy them there. I really like how the Switch version included McCloud and his ship. Next up are shooter games of various types. I have Splatoon 2 and 3, 2 versions of Fortnite, both are just the cases with no physical cartridge, LA Noire, Into the Dead 2, Raiden 5 Director's Cut, Metroid Prime, Doomslayer's Collection, Borderlands Legendary Collection, Borderlands 3 Ultimate Edition, Metal Gear Solid Masters Collection Volume 1, Curved Space, Neon White, My Friend Pedro, Saints Row 4 Re-Elected, and Resident Evil Revelations Collection. I believe Splatoon are the go-to shooter games on the Switch. They're so much fun whether you're playing Turf Wars, Salmon Run, or even just the main story. Into the Dead 2 was originally a mobile game that I remember playing back in the day, and it works pretty well as a console game where you're mainly running from zombies and have limited ammo and weapons to use to protect yourself. Neon White has a fun story to it where you're basically fighting in a competition to earn a spot in heaven while doing some cool parkour moves and shooting baddies in the face. My Friend Pedro also has shooting and parkour, but you are influenced by a talking banana. I was sold since day one. Here we have games developed by Platinum Games. We have Bayonetta 1, 2, 3, and Origins, Cereza and the Lost Demon. And then we also have Astral Chain and the wonderful 101 Remastered. I've played through Bayonetta 1 through 3, and all 3 games are a lot of fun. The stories are a bit confusing at times, but there is nothing confusing about performing flashing combos as you wallop on these creatures. Astral Chain is probably the most famous, underrated Switch game out there, kind of similar to Bayonetta, but you use Legion, these beasts that are chained to you, to fight and perform combos. I highly recommend you pick up this game if you can find it. While we're talking about performing combos, let's check out the fighting and beat 'em up games of the collection. I have ARMS, Street Fighter 30th Anniversary Collection, WWE 2K Battlegrounds, Skullgirls Second Encore, Super Smash Bros. Ultimate, Ultra Street Fighter 2 The Final Challengers, Nickelodeon All-Star Brawl Ultimate Edition, Streets of Rage 4, Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles Shredder's Revenge, Lollipop Chainsaw Repop, Marvel vs. Capcom Fighting Collection Arcade Classics, and SNK vs. Capcom SVC Chaos. I'm not the biggest fan of ARMS personally. It was fun for a while, but I think it just needs more game modes and content to make it a little more interesting. Smash Bros. Ultimate is still probably my favorite game of all time. The amount of characters, music, and hours upon hours of gameplay is just untouched in my opinion. Just cause I really like Smash, I don't think Nickelodeon All-Star Brawl is a bad game. I'm a fan of most of these characters and I only paid $5 for the game with the DLC, which is pretty cool. Streets of Rage 4 and Shredder's Revenge are both the best beat 'em up games I've ever played. You could probably get both digital versions for cheap, but I recommend looking for physical versions since they come with some extra stuff. Here I have games published by Sega. There's Sonic Forces plus Super Monkey Ball Banana Blitz HD, Sonic Mania plus Team Sonic Racing, Super Monkey Ball Banana Mania, Valkyria Chronicles 4, Sonic Superstars, Sonic Frontiers, Super Monkey Ball Banana Rumble, Sega Genesis Classics, Sonic Origins Plus, and Sonic X Shadow Generations. Banana Blitz HD was actually my first Super Monkey Ball I've ever played. I know it's not the most loved game from the series, but I actually really enjoyed my time with it, and it's gotten me to be a fan of these monkeys. I was enjoying Banana Mania, but I never beat the game because I got stuck on one of the levels and I can't beat it for the life of me. Sonic Superstars is a mixed bag for me. I enjoy the levels and the music, but those boss fights, man, are horrendous. But you can play as Lego Sonic, so the game is still a 10 out of 10 for me. Speaking of Lego, I only have 4 Lego games for the Switch. I have Lego Worlds, Lego DC Supervillains, and Lego Marvel Superheroes 1 and 2. The only game I can speak confidently of is Marvel Superheroes. I played it when it first came out over 10 years ago, and it's still one of my favorite Lego games of all time, next to Lego Batman 2 and Lego Star Wars The Complete Saga. I'm a simple man. I can play as a bunch of Marvel characters, I'm gonna like it. Next up are my couch co-op / party games. I have Monopoly for Nintendo Switch, Cookie Mama Cookstar, Clubhouse Games 51 Worldwide Classics, Among Us, WarioWare Get It Together and Move It, 1-2 Switch, Everybody 1-2 Switch, Nintendo Switch Sports, Nintendo World Championship NES Edition, Overcooked plus Overcooked 2, Taku no Tatsujin Rhythm Festival, and Rabbids Party of Legends. Monopoly is pretty self-explanatory. It's Monopoly on a TV, basically. No board or cards required. Cookie Mama is primarily a single-player experience, but does have a fun 2-player mode. Clubhouse Games is really cool. It gave us a great bowling game before Nintendo Switch Sports came out. You can say what you want about Among Us, but whenever I can get in a room full of friends, it's always a fun time. I happen to have 2 copies of the game since I wanted a regular case, since all I had was the Steelbook. I've only played a little bit of Nintendo Switch Sports, and so far it's okay. I don't think it delivers the same experience as Wii Sports though. I played Nintendo World Championship primarily by myself, but there is a party mode if you want to see who's better at speedrunning Super Mario Bros. Speaking of Mario Bros, of course I have to have a group just for Mario games. I have Super Mario Odyssey, Super Mario Maker 2, Super Mario 3D All-Stars, Mario Tennis Aces, New Super Mario Bros. Wii U Deluxe, Super Mario 3D World plus Bowser's Fury, Mario Kart 8 Deluxe, Super Mario Bros. Wonder, Mario Strikers Battle League, and Mario Party Superstars. You have 5, technically 6, the best of all time 3D platformers that you can take with you on the go. I'm set for life. New Super Mario Bros. Was honestly a huge waste of time for me since I already have and played the original Wii U version. Now Super Mario Bros. Wonder, now that's a great 2D Mario game. I would have liked a bit more challenge in Wonder, but every other aspect of the game is immaculate. And of course, Mario Kart 8 Deluxe is straight up a time killer. So many hours have been put into online lobbies with friends, and it's just incredible. I know I gotta get back on that game to whoop y'all asses. Those aren't the only Mario games I have. I actually put aside the Mario RPGs in their own category. I have Paper Mario the Origami King, Super Mario RPG, Paper Mario The Thousand Year Door, Mario plus Rabbids Kingdom Battle and Sparks of Hope, and Mario and Luigi Brothership. Both Super Mario RPG and Thousand Year Door are remakes, but I never played the original games, so playing both of those games was a whole new experience for me, and I really enjoyed both of those games. I'm still playing through Mario and Luigi Brothership as we speak. I've played other games in the series, and as a fan, I don't appreciate the fact that you select Luigi's moves with the A button instead of the B button like how it's always been. Does it ruin the game? No, but if you're a fan of the series, man, tell me this isn't annoying. Here are all of my Xenoblade games. I have Xenoblade Chronicles Definitive Edition, Xenoblade Chronicles 2, and Tour of the Golden Country, and Xenoblade Chronicles 3. I don't have much to say on these games since the only one I've played was Xenoblade Chronicles 2, but I only played like 10 hours of the game, which isn't even a fraction of the game's content. This is a series that I'm just waiting for the right time to fully go into since I've heard a lot of good things about each game. A series that I am a bit more knowledgeable in is the Fire Emblem series. I have Tokyo Mirage Sessions Sharp FE Encore, Fire Emblem Warriors and Warriors 3 Hopes, Fire Emblem 3 Houses, and Fire Emblem Engage. I tried to get into both Warrior games, but I just got disinterested in them and played something else. Those, of course, are Dynasty Warrior games where you beat up hundreds of enemies. The main tactical RPG Fire Emblem is some of the finest on the Switch. Both 3 Houses and Engage are both very different from each other. However, it's hard to say which one I like more. I played through 3 Houses twice just to get more into each story path, and I spent over 100 hours in Engage. I originally bought the digital version of 3 Houses, but liked the game so much, I got the physical copy, and I was able to get the Divine Edition of Engage, and currently have the poster framed on my wall. I really like Fire Emblem. Next up are my Square Enix games. I have Bravely Default 2, Octopath Traveler 1 and 2, The World Ends With You Final Remix, Nier Automata The End of Yudhira Edition, Kingdom Hearts Melody of Memory, Triangle Strategy, Crisis Core Final Fantasy VII Reunion, Final Fantasy Pixel Remaster, Final Fantasy VII and 8 Remastered, Harvestella, Live Alive, Star Ocean The Second Story R, Collection of Mana, and Dragon Quest Monsters The Dark Prince. I'm going to be 100% honest with y'all. Out of all of these games, Final Fantasy VII is the only one I've beaten, and that was on the PlayStation 1. All of these games I either got when they were on sale or given to me as a gift. These are just games that have piqued my interest, and hopefully one day I'll be able to get around to them. Kingdom Hearts Melody of Memory is one I've actually played a good amount of. It's a fun rhythm game, although I haven't played any of the Kingdom Hearts games. Main reason I got it was to use the save data to get the exclusive song in Smash Ultimate. I only have 3 Monster Hunter games, and that's Monster Hunter Rise, Monster Hunter Stories, and Stories 2 Rings of Ruin. Monster Hunter Stories 2 opened my eyes to fun alternatives to Pokemon. It's been a couple of years since I played it, but from what I remembered, it was a great monster catching turn-based RPG. The first Stories game was released on 3DS, but was re-released not too long ago. However, here in North America, if you wanted the physical copy, you had to get it with Stories 2, which isn't even on the cartridge. It's just a download code. So I imported the overseas version, and it was much cheaper, only like 25 bucks. Here are games published by Atlas. We have Persona 5 Strikers, Persona 5 Royal, Persona 5 Tactica, Persona 3 Portable, Persona 4 Golden, Shin Megami Tensei 3 Nocturne HD Remastered, Shin Megami Tensei 5 Vengeance, Unicorn Overlord, and Catherine Full Body. Persona 5 Royal took a while to be ported over to the Switch, but we finally got it. I have both the regular case and steelbook of the game. Literally one of the best games ever made, although you need to dedicate a good portion of your life to experience it. Persona 5 Strikers is a full-on sequel to Persona 5, but instead of turn-based combat, it's a Dynasty Warriors game with Persona 5 flair. It's actually really good. It's just not that good looking on the Switch, as good as the PS4 version, but I don't give a f. I can kick ass on the go. Don't ask me about Tactica, alright? I've only played like the first 2 hours. Not my cup of tea, but I'm willing to give it another shot one day. Persona 4 Golden is another god tier game. I played it on the PlayStation Vita twice, so it's cool that it got ported to the Switch and other platforms as well. I played Persona 3 Reload, so I do want to try Portable at some point and play as a female protagonist. Catherine Full Body has a pretty fun puzzle game with a crazy story. I've only beaten this game once, but there are a bunch of different endings, so I need to do another playthrough eventually. Next are games from Xseed, which are Silent Hope, Trinity Trigger, Rune Factory 3 Special, Rune Factory 4 Special, Rune Factory 5, and Akiba's Trip Undead and Undressed Director's Cut. These games also just piqued my interest, especially with the day one editions I have that come with art books and soundtracks. Silent Hope is the only one I played and beaten, and I was actually surprised with how fun it was. You can play as any of the silent heroes and go through dungeons to fight monsters and find the truth of why the kingdom was cursed to no longer speak. Once you beat in the game, you can play through each floor of the dungeon with a harder difficulty, so there is a good amount of gameplay. If any of those games from Xseed are half as good as Silent Hope, then I'll be happy. And here are the rest of my RPGs for the Switch. I have Ni no Kuni Wrath of the White Witch, Ni no Kuni 2 Revenant Kingdom Princess Edition, Child of Light plus Valiant Hearts The Great War, Disgaea 4 Complete Plus, Chris Tales, The Princess Guide, Bakugan Champions of Vestroia, Tales of Vesperia Definitive Edition, Dusk Diver 1 and 2, Tales of Symphonia Remastered, Ys 9 Monstrum Nox Pack Edition, The Legend of Legacy HD Remastered, Sea of Stars, and Ring Fit Adventure. If y'all ever wanted to play the worst game ever made on the Switch, then Bakugan Champions of Vestroia may be your game. This game is absolutely atrocious. It looks even worse than Pokemon Scarlet and Violet, and the gameplay is repetitive beyond belief. The reason I still own this game is to keep this game out of the people's hands, bro. I would not want this game going out in the wild and ruining someone's way of living. You want to play a good RPG? Ring Fit Adventure is that game. Never knew that a workout game can also be a fun RPG, but Ring Fit Adventure is that game, dude. Also, the music is good for no reason. That's why it's featured in Alarmo. Next up are my visual novel games. I have Doki Doki Literature Club Plus, Senra Kagura Reflections, Caller X Malice Unlimited, The Great Ace Attorney Chronicles, Phoenix Wright Ace Attorney Trilogy, Emio the Smiling Man Famicom Detective Club, Ace Attorney Apollo Justice Trilogy, and Ace Attorney Investigations Collection. Doki Doki was originally a free game on PC, but was released for consoles with additional content and some goodies. Game is pretty f***ed up though, I'm just letting y'all know. Senra Kagura Reflections is a game for degenerates, don't play it. The only Ace Attorney game I played was the first Phoenix Wright on the DS, and it was amazing, so I had to get the trilogy on Switch, as well as the other entries. Emio the Smiling Man is a game that I was very surprised with how much I enjoyed it. It's a pretty short visual novel, but the storytelling is really well done. It's not a scary game, although it does have some horror aspects. Just be prepared for a crazy murder mystery. Here are my farming games. I have Cult of the Lamb, Stardew Valley, and Animal Crossing New Horizons. Stardew Valley is so much fun, man. It has no reason to be this much fun. The farming, the dungeon crawling, the fishing, the item gathering, the dating sim, it's all Well done, dude. And then of course the savior of boredom in 2020, Animal Crossing New Horizons is our God-given gift. I wish it received a little bit more updates to keep the game going, but it's still fun down to its core. These are my creative games, if you will. It's just Minecraft and Game Builder Garage. I like Minecraft. It will always be a game I can spend hours in at any given time. Probably enjoy it more on PC, but there was a time I exclusively only played on Switch. And then Game Builder Garage didn't really stick with me. I was doing the tutorials for making games in it, but I just kind of quit after a while. I don't hear much about this game, so I'm guessing it didn't stick with others as well. Up next are my puzzle/strategy games. I got Sushi Strikers: The Way of Shushido, Boyo Boyo Tetris, Grindstone, Captain Toad Treasure Tracker, Ghost Trick Phantom Detective, Another Code Recollection, Katamari Damacy Reroll, Pikmin 1 and 2, and Pikmin 3 Deluxe, Untitled Goose Game, and Balatro. Captain Toad is such an underrated gem, man. I played through this game 3 times and I just don't get tired of it. It's a work of art. One day I will go into more detail about Captain Toad, but for now, all you gotta know is that this is a work of art. Untitled Goose Game is pretty good too. I have 3 racing games here: Burnout Paradise Remastered, Cruisin' Blast, and Crash Team Racing Nitro Refueled. Cruisin' Blast is the only one I've played out of these. I think it's pretty cool, especially if you're a fan of the arcade version. Recently, I've seen this game get marked down to like $20, so I highly recommend you pick it up at that price. Here are my Metroidvania titles for the Switch. I have Bloodstained Ritual of the Night, Dead Cells, Metroid Dread, Ori and the Blind Forest, Ori and the Will of the Wisp, and Castlevania Advanced Collection. I played through all of the mainline Metroid games to be prepared for Metroid Dread, and I still think this is my favorite one. It just looks so good, dude. The controls feel amazing. I didn't get lost in the game, alright? So I'm pretty proud of myself for that. Easily one of the greatest games made for the Switch in my opinion. Here are some more 2D platformers. I have Rayman Legends Definitive Edition, Trine 4, The Nightmare Prince, Mega Man 11, Gina Sisters Twisted Dreams Ultimate Edition, Yooka-Laylee and the Impossible Lair, Shantae, Disney Classic Games Collection, Gris, Kirby Return to Dreamland Deluxe, Donkey Kong Country Tropical Freeze, Dream Cutter, and Killer Queen Black. Gris is such a beautiful game, man. Every scene is just a watercolor masterpiece. The game is pretty short too, so there's really no reason to not finish this game if you decide to pick it up. Kirby Return to Dreamland is fun. I've never played the Wii version, so it was a new experience to me. Man, Tropical Freeze has eluded me for years. I have the game digitally on Wii U, never finished it, and now I have the Switch version for almost a year and I still haven't gotten past the second world. One of these days, man, I swear I will beat Tropical Freeze. Alright, we're not using funky mode, we're doing it raw Donkey Kong. I have finished Dream Cutter. The gameplay is pretty cool. You play as a girl who is guided by a talking scythe and you fight and jump your way through levels. This game does have some degenerate art to it, and I will say it's not that good, bro. The art styles don't match up and I don't recommend it even for the degenerates. For 3D platformers, I have Spyro Reignited Trilogy, Crash Bandicoot Insane Trilogy, Crash Bandicoot 4 It's About Time, Kirby and the Forgotten Land, and SpongeBob SquarePants Battle for Bikini Bottom Rehydrated. I've only played Spyro 1 and Crash 1 from their respective trilogies, but so far I think they're pretty good. Spyro is pretty relaxed and Crash is just hard as balls. Kirby and the Forgotten Land is easily my favorite Kirby game of all time. It's the first time Kirby has been in 3D and it's amazing. Highly recommend it. My action/adventure games for the Switch consist of Hades, Risk of Rain 1 and 2, Minecraft Dungeons Ultimate Edition, Minecraft Legends Deluxe Edition, Origami Shadow Edition, Spiritfarer, No Man's Sky, Super Bomberman R1 and 2, Fatal Frame Maiden of Black Water, Revita, and Tomb Raider 1 through 3 remastered. One of these days, man, one of these days, I swear I will finish Hades. It's on my bucket list. I was this close to beating them. Minecraft Dungeons is actually pretty good, only if you're playing with other people. Just never play the single player, alright? You're gonna get a little bored. And Minecraft Legends on Switch looks like complete dog. Alright, don't even bother. And finally, to wrap up the Switch collection, we have my Zelda games. I have The Legend of Zelda, Breath of the Wild, Link's Awakening, Skyward Sword HD, Tears of the Kingdom, and Echoes of Wisdom. Man, there probably won't be any other feeling in the world that comes close to playing Breath of the Wild on the newly released Switch. I actually got Snipperclip, Shovel Knight, and Fast RMX included with the GameStop bundle of the Switch, alongside Breath of the Wild and DLC Pass, just because I couldn't find the Switch by itself when it first came out. And let me tell you, man, I barely touched those other games because playing Breath of the Wild was just a draw-dropping phenomenon. Even though I like Tears of the Kingdom more as a game, Breath of the Wild will always be a special game to me. But yeah, Tears of the Kingdom, it did take a good 2 to 3 weeks of my life. I'm a huge fan of the creative aspect of building your own vehicles and gadgets. Still the only $70 game for a Switch and worth every penny in my opinion. And Echoes of Wisdom was one of my more recent games I've played, and I played the out of it on the Hyrule Edition Switch Lite. I didn't use every single echo, but I did have my favorites, and it was relatively short, which I appreciate because this is only the 4th Zelda game I've beaten. I still have a lot of Zelda I gotta get through. And that is my entire Switch game collection, which consists of a total of 215 unique physical games. Like I said before, there are titles I haven't had a chance to get to yet, both physically and digitally. Oh man, dude, the digital games are a whole different beast. But at the end of the day, I purchase games I am genuinely interested in playing. It may take some time before I can get around to each one, but I know it will happen, especially since it was announced that the Switch successor will be backwards compatible with Switch games. So my collection isn't going anywhere, and I guarantee you it's still growing. Can't say the same about my Switch consoles, alright? I don't think I need any more of those. Well, that's going to be it for today's video. Let me know what Switch games you own or recommend getting down in the comments below. Thank you guys for watching, and of course, I will see you guys in the next one. Take care. Alright, game number 216, Miitopia. It comes with a horse, and I'm gonna name it Friday.